these guys really didn't give the crowd anything to get crazy about because, again, within the first few minutes of the game, they're down by 10. And, this is why I said in the pregame, I probably did like 4 shows yesterday, but at every show, from the show with Dexter and Eric to Tiki and Evan on FAN, I said this game to me is the most important game of the series for the Knicks. And I had people commenting like, every game's important. We're trying to run a championship. Obviously. But I wanted to see in this game, could this Knicks team rise to the occasion? Because you had to expect, Al and CK, the champs were going to be the champs at some point. The numbers were just, even though they were missing their shots, the numbers in the first 2 games are still in their favor statistically. You know what I mean? Like they shot 25 for 100. They weren't going to continue that in a series. You weren't going to expect bad games from Tatum and Brown. So like for me, this game, the reason why I wanted this game so much was because, number one, you couldn't expect them to shoot as badly as they did in the first 2 games. They shot 50% from 3, confirmed. Hey, maybe Porzingis is going to wake up and get healthier as this series progresses, right? Played a little bit more, was a little bit more impactful. I wouldn't say, he didn't kill him from 3 or anything like that, but he was still good. But by and large, the entire team for Boston dominated the Knicks tonight. Let's just keep it a beam. Knicks dominated on both ends. The Boston defense was ferocious. They stopped the Knicks at the rim. The Knicks continue with the boneheaded turnovers, and Boston does what Boston does and turns that into points, whether it's points at the rim or points from 3. Tatum got his. And look, this series, we need more from Cat. We need more from Cat. I just did not see enough from the Knicks offensively. And look, they're going up against a great defense. We left Detroit. Okay, all right, we beat Detroit. You're going up against an even better defense. We almost forgot that because of the 2 20-point miraculous comebacks that we made in the first 2 games. You got to work. That's why I said this game to me was very important to see, like, can we separate from these guys, or are we going to really, really have to, like, pull some miracles here to win this series? That's why I wanted this game more than any. Doesn't mean the series is over. It's 2-1. Monday could be a whole different story. But the Knicks, Boston raised their level of play tonight. This is what I'm going to say, bottom line of all that I said. Champions, superior teams can hit a level. Can the Knicks reach that level? And tonight they didn't do that. Point blank, period. They didn't reach that level. And they got the result that they got. They got washed in front of my eyes. It was a disappointing one to be at in person. But I accepted it. They got washed, man.
They did.
Boston hit that championship level, Al. We couldn't get to it. Couldn't get to it tonight.
Couldn't get to it. So how are you feeling about game 4 then? Like, DK and I already said this is a must-win game. I mean, you took 2 on the road. Feel like game 4, we don't want the momentum to fully swing to Boston because, this game is about confidence, man. As soon as they get confidence, then they're going to start rolling. So I feel like I'll speak for myself, even though CK already said it in the beginning of the show, game 4 is very important, but like they got to come out there and show that they're ready and they can elevate to that level. Do you think, how are you feeling about game 4?
Look, it's going to take another Herculean effort, but again, our all-stars have to set the tone. And I did not feel that to start this game from Brunson. I did not feel that from Towns. I don't care what the Brunson numbers look like at the end of this. When the game mattered, Cap's impact was not felt. Cat's impact was not felt in this game. I was there. I was watching. I don't care about efficiency. I don't care about double-doubles. Their impacts were not felt when the game really mattered. They have to set the tone. I said this going into this series. The Knicks cannot win this series without these two guys dominating. And it's easier said than done because Cap and Brunson has a very tough matchup. He's got to see Drew. He's got to see White and Payton Pritchard, who killed the Knicks on both ends of the floor tonight. Was great. Give credit where credit is due. He was fantastic tonight.
I did.
Payton Pritchard was great for them. So Cap, he's got a tough assignment. So it's on him. It's on Tibbs. We got to figure out how to get him back into his groove. Is it more off-ball movement? Is it more setting screens for him to get him off ball? Do we want to run the offense through Cat or McCall to get Brunson going a little bit? They got to figure out how to get him separated from these guys because defensively they're hounding him. And then offensively, what continues to be the case for the Knicks, and even though they did win the rebounding battle by 1, is that their guards get the scrappy rebounds that gets them the second chance opportunities, man. They do it time and time again. Here's another one. Derek White, 5 rebounds tonight. 2 on the offensive side. Drew Holiday's 2 rebounds. 2 on the, White's 5, 3 on the offensive side. Horford, 3 offensive rebounds. Cornette, 2 offensive rebounds. Payton Pritchard, 2 offensive rebounds. Like they get you those extra chances at buckets. Some of those come at Brunson's expense, but others, like with the Knicks, you gotta get after it on the boards. Even though they won by 1, I didn't feel that, especially in the first half when Boston was able to run it up. So, you asked me going into game 4, hey, win. But you got to earn it. This felt like a regular season game for the Knicks. Like, this ain't Detroit, my mans. You got to go out there and punch them in the mouth. You can't keep expecting to come back from 20-point deficits every game in the playoffs against the champs. This was the game I hope they didn't play, and they played it, and they lost. So hopefully Monday they can turn it around. What'd you guys think then?
I think for them, speaking on the offensive part, I think they got to get Bridges going earlier. I think they got to get all the role players going. I think the Celtics already know who the 2 impactful players are, and that's how they're starting the defense, is that let's not allow these guys to get into rhythm. And I feel like if you allow Bridges, if you allow OG, even Josh to get into their rhythm today, or even at some point throughout this series, it will open things up for Brunson and for Cat. I mean, they're just closing off lanes. They're not giving Cat any space at all from the perimeter to put up threes. I know he had 5 today, like we spoke about earlier, me and CK, but a lot of those threes were either rushed or like second guessing, and it was not it was not clean. And they just got to figure out how to get these guys going, man. I think that just goes with the role players first and foremost. I mean, I think Josh, leaving the game early due to injury, threw things off. You talk about scrappiness. We didn't have that for a period of time. And then Bridges, came alive in the second half. I think Tibbs can just do a little bit more to get him going, but also, you're second guessing yourself way too often. Way too often.
Yeah.
Just be confident. Instead of taking a 3, he drives for a 2, and then he feels that pressure from Jalen Brown just to stop that shot. And you just got to play with confidence, man. And these guys, I said it felt like the Knicks felt like they were on the ropes instead of being up 2-1 and feeling free and loose. Yeah. And the Celtics were just like, yo, this is just another game for us.
Yeah, that's why I'll add to that last part from Alex. That's literally my only take, because this game was just an ugly one from the jump. We never took a lead. But Alex's last point is the biggest one. This team needs to not play tentative as if we're trailing 1-2. We're up 2-1 in this series. You got to take one of these games from the Garden. You're home, the most talked about arena in sports, even when we're bad. And we got to take one of these games home in the victory. And the best way to do that is by utilizing that crowd. We talked about it from us watching on a TV screen. Me and Alex said word for word, bar for bar, what you said, and you were in the building. We said it. This crowd just from the TV, it felt like they were waiting for anything,
We were
any
waiting.
moment to blow up. They cut the lead down
We
to
were
20
waiting,
CP, and y'all was acting like we was down by 5. And that's what we needed. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, you could feel that energy. You feel that energy through the
What do you mean?
screen.
Yeah.
What do you mean? The Knicks chick was up there waving her towel. I'm sitting there sitting down like, man, these dudes playing bummy tonight. She looking at me like, why you ain't saying it up? I'm like, yo, man, come on, man. Yo, the Garden went ballistic.
Crazy.
And I'm looking at the score. I'm like, wait, we still down by 20. I'm still pissed.
That's what I'm saying. So they need to use that energy. None of the timid stuff. And yes, Mikal Bridges, number one, Bridges High President saying it, number one, turning down shots. But I feel like it was a collective. OG did not look like he wanted to be a part of the offense tonight. I know you can say we can make moments and feel. I don't feel like he wanted to be a part of it in a lot of the opportunities they gave to him. Cat turned down some shots. You know, even Brunson. There was a few times we were talking about in the chat on the play-by-play. Brunson made a move, got himself so open, he wasn't so sure if he wanted to shoot it, then takes a step in, turns the ball. We're like, what's going on? Everybody seemed like they were so timid and worried and scared, like we were the ones down 1-2 in this series. So for me, point blank period, easy fix. You go out there and be the assertive one, the dominant one, the home team up 2-1 in this series, and you fight your asses off. Family friendly. I'm sorry, but for real, that's it. That's all it comes down to on Monday, man. Energy.
My thing is you know, when the champs are playing at their best, especially defensively, we can't forget how good they are defensively.
Yeah.
When they're playing at that way, look, I love the dog, I love Bridges and all of that, but especially with OG, like if they're closing off his airspace and making him put the ball on the floor, that's a win for Boston. That's a win for Boston. That is why Cat and Cap have to set the tone. And I watched this game. The game started. It took them like several possessions to even get Karl-Anthony Towns a good look. He still can't establish position lower in the post. Those are just frustrating things with the offense. And then before you know it, you blink and they're down by 10. Again, you can't keep going to the come from behind well all the time. That's why I looked at this game to say, look, can we swing first and really like establish ourselves out? And it was more the same as it was the first two games. That's why it's a bad sign. Not series, not series, not over. People tell me, oh, if you don't win this game, it's over. Nah, not that. But the Knicks have to find their next gear. And we're going to find out if they can reach that gear over the next few games.
Key stats of the night brought to you by Underdog Fantasy. Make sure you use that promo code KFTV for $1,000 in instant bonus cash and a free pick. So let's talk about the key stats of tonight, CK. All right. So we'll get this one. Biggest key stat for me is that the Knicks never had a lead in this one, man. Seeing that the Celtics led from the jump and the Knicks never were able to get back into this one. Knicks would obviously lose 115-93. You will get the rebounding battle. Knicks barely won this one, 43-42. You will get the assist battle. Knicks not really being able to find guys to complete some of these shots. Knicks only had 16 assists while the Celtics had 23. Celtics would win the steal battle 6-3. Knicks would lose the block battle. Celtics had 8. Knicks had 2. Knicks lost the turnover battle. They had 11 turnovers. Celtics had 8. When you're looking at now the shooting percentages, Celtics would win all these categories. Celtics won the field goal percentage 48-40. They won the 3-point percentage 50-20. They won the free throw percentage 88-60-69. It was just a bad shooting performance. And when you start looking at these other categories, points in the paint, the Knicks did win that one, but Celtics were just shooting a lot of threes, so they didn't really need to attack the paint as they did in the first two games. You'll get second chance opportunities. The Knicks and the Celtics tied at 18 apiece. And then getting to Tone's point, the Knicks need to get out there and just get some fast breaks, get easy buckets. They lost this one 18-8 when the Knicks have won that category the last two games. Knicks fall behind in this one, and look, I think part of that is because Josh Hart had to leave the game early too. After he had to go back to the locker room, deal with an injury for a little bit, he was able to come back in this game. But not having Josh Hart for parts of that first quarter where you're looking for that energy guy, that do everything guy, that Swiss Army knife, not having him out there kind of ruined the flow with this game too, and especially when you're looking for somebody to get out on fast breaks. That's the answer. That's your guy right there. He's always looking to push the pace, especially after grabbing a rebound. Didn't have him, and so Knicks would lose that category, as I said, 18-8. CK, are there any takeaways from you for any of these key stats?
I have my key stat.
What is it?
8 for 16. Stay with me. 5 for 10.
Oof.
Stay with me. 23 points. Who did I just tell you about, Alex Charles? Payton Pritchard. That's my key stat.
I didn't even want to say his name because
Payton
I got it.
Pritchard is
you know why I hate this? You want to know why I hate that you bring his name up? I keep talking about this group chat that I'm in, man. This pickup basketball group chat that I'm in. And someone's like, Alex, are you ready for the Payton Pritchard 30-point performance coming today? I said, that's a funny way to spell deuce. Sure enough.
Yeah, Payton Pritchard. And he has done this to us on a lot of occasions. I say it all the time. I've given up hating on Payton Pritchard. Chat's going to hate this. I've given up hating on Payton Pritchard. He's my favorite Celtic. Like, this dude, I don't know what it is. He plays the dude, whenever he's in the Garden, like, he outplays the Knicks in our own building every single time. Every single time he has these big games, Alex, it's not in Boston. It's not in their little raggedy garden. It's always in the Madison Square Garden, MSG. Every time this dude, if you look at the stats from everywhere else on this team, you take Payton Pritchard out of this, we had a chance. But this man, and Payton Pritchard, he was pretty quiet in game 1 and game 2 in their home arena. And when does he want to show out, Alex Charles? He wants to show out in Madison Square Garden. 23 points, 8 for 16, 50% from the field, 5 for 10 for 3. That is the most 3 shot of any of the players in a Celtics uniform. And amount of the times, and I would like someone to go watch those replays and count how many of those 5 threes he made that he was butt naked open on. I'll wait. Payton
Not butt
Pritchard.
naked open on.
Payton Pritchard was just, I don't understand what it is about this guy. Like, I want one. All right. I don't know how we do it. I don't know who we talk to. I don't know who we call. I want one. I want a Payton Pritchard because this dude loves to kill the New York Knicks. And it's so unfortunate that it's happening right here in a game like this where, we knew they were going to play well, but I was hoping it wasn't going to be, like you said, you're hoping it was the Deuce game. I was hoping it was not going to be a Payton Pritchard game. I hope we'd be talking about, Jason Tatum figured it out. Jalen Brown. Man, Tatum had a 22, shot 40% from the field. Jalen Brown, he had some good stuff, shot 38%. No. They over there, they're going to be calling and talking about Payton Pritchard, and that irritates my being. So Payton Pritchard gets my stat of the night because that's ridiculous. That's absolutely ridiculous, Alex. You want to hear one more time? 8 for 16, Alex. 5 for 10, 23 points. Payton Pritchard. I'm done.
I agree. First of all, I'm very aggravated that you're talking about Payton Pritchard, but I'm also upset, CK. I'm also upset. You said this is your favorite Celtic, which is kind of weird to say in the series, man. I wish you didn't say that out loud. I wish you did not say that.
I'm saying it because I'm sick of it. How is Celtic going to show up more than any of our Knicks on the team in Madison Square Garden? Come on, man. Somebody go look at Payton Pritchard's film like, damn, I should do that too. Anybody on this team. Like, I'm sick of it. I'm sick of it. He keeps doing this to us in our own building. And every time I say I hate him, he goes and does more. So I don't want to out loud say I hate Payton Pritchard because watch him go off for 40 in game 4. So I'm not going to say it out loud.
You hear that? Pritchard hit another 3 as we're talking about him.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
And this is Key Stats of the Night brought to you by our sponsor, Underdog Fantasy. Use that promo code KFTV to get to $1,000 in instant bonus cash and a free pick. People, let me tell you something about Underdog Fantasy. It's very fun to use. I like to think I know a little bit more than what they're telling me when I'm logging into the app, okay? So the cool thing about Underdog is that you can create a ticket of anywhere between 2 to 8 players, and they all don't have to be from the same sport. It could be basketball, football, hockey, soccer, baseball, whatever it may be that you're into. You can mix and match all those players. But if you do stay with one sport, you have to choose at least 2 players from 2 different teams. Now, the cool thing about Underdog Fantasy is that all you got to do is just choose higher or lower for any given stat. So let's say today, which I said yesterday on Game of the Week preview with Keith Smith, all right, I said if they had Jalen Brunson higher than 25.5 points, I was going to take that. And look, he got 27 tonight. Would have hit if I did play tonight. All right, so that's the cool thing. And then all you got to do is just make sure you choose higher or lower for all the other players that you go down the line. Now, when you play Underdog Fantasy, you can either go all in and say you believe all your picks are going to hit, or you can go the insured route. So if you think 3 or 4 is going to hit, or 4 or 5 is going to hit, you can always get some money in return if you're not confident in all the selections that you made. If you don't want to do the pick'ems, you can also go to the fantasy draft. Okay, so you can put on your GM cap, compete with your friends or a bunch of randos, put down some beer, lunch money, and go see who can put together the best team to win. All right. So make sure to download the app Underdog Fantasy or go to the website and use that promo code KFTV to get up to $1,000 in instant bonus cash and a free pick. Once again, that promo code is KFTV. Let's get to Coffee from Canada. Coffee.
Hey guys, do you guys hear me well?
Yes, sir. What's happening?
Awesome, man. Yeah, honestly, thanks for taking my call. I think it's just obvious, watching the start of this game, which team, had their season on the line basically, and there's something in the playoffs like playing with desperation. It's hard to match it, especially being up 2-0. So I give obviously the Celtics credit. We've seen it with every other team as well. I think OKC game 2, they brought that same kind of energy, and you got to match that, especially in the first quarter, and not fall back, fall behind by 30, 40 or 30 points, how much we were down by. Cause I felt like we were getting better, especially defensively in the second half, switching more with Cat on Jalen Brown and Jason Tatum. And the looks weren't the same. Obviously, the only guy who was really killing us, I felt, was Payton Pritchard in isolation. So you saw in the second half, we were a little better, but, we were down too much. And the issue with the Celtics is we know how good they are shooting wise. But like to beat a team like this, especially, how good their roster is, you can't make those mistakes. Those 50-50 balls, just giving it to them, those offensive rebounds that lead to threes, those turnovers, I think JB had one where he just kind of dribbled off his foot, and I think Tatum got that and one. So you can't have those mistakes and them shooting that hot and, expect them to win. The one thing I will say for us to win this series, I feel like Tibbs needs to really lean into the double big lineup with Mitch. It's obvious that's the one lineup that's killing the Celtics with Mitch and Cat. Because right now we know Cat's being guarded by a wing, and JB and then Josh Hart is getting guarded by their center. So they're just inviting Josh Hart to get the ball there. And it's very hard for JVVC. Like, he's very tight in those corners, and he's not able to create separation against them. But with Mitchell Robinson, you're forced to actually have a center on him because he's so good on the offensive glass. And I feel like it'll open a lot more doors for Brunson and especially Cat as well, because now you're worrying about Mitch. If there's a big on Mitch, then Brunson can really get into his bag, maybe have more pull-up threes and stuff like that, and Cat will be able to crash the offensive glass. And if they send help to Brunson, then he'll have those open threes. Right now, the Celtics were kind of playing into their hands, and they're kind of just waiting it out until they can start hitting shots. I think we really need to put emphasis on opening our offensive game, because I think it's been like 9 games now and in the playoffs, and we haven't even had, I think, one complete game where we've been playing well offensively. So I think Tibbs needs to make it obviously easier for us and bring that sense of urgency like right away. Like, I don't want him to kind of wait for the adjustment until game 5. That might be too late. We have to kind of really have that sense of urgency like earlier and really take this game 4 and bring it to them. And hopefully, if they want to foul Mitch early, then they'll be in the bonus for like 10 minutes. So it's really up to them, but really, putting pressure on them offensively. So that's it for my call. Thanks for taking it, and hopefully we get game 4, man. Game 4 is going to be much bigger than this one, and we're going to need that game, I think, to win this series. So thanks for taking my call.
Appreciate the call, Coffee from Canada, man. Where in Canada are you from?
I'm actually from Ottawa, Ontario. I don't know if you guys know that. It's the capital of Canada, so that's where I'm from. Yeah, but I've been a Knicks fan my whole life. Yeah, we don't have a team out here. I'm not a Raptors fan or anything, so I've been a Knicks fan my whole life. So
love that.
Yeah.
That's awesome, man. Salute to you, man, for being a Knicks fan repping out in Ottawa. Appreciate you, man. That's Coffee from Canada. Rate that call in the chat, man. 5 being facts, 1 being trash. I thought that was a really good call, man.
Yeah, that's Coffee.
Today's sponsor is brought to you by Morgan & Morgan. People, let me tell you a little bit about something about Morgan & Morgan. With over $25 billion recovered for over 500,000 clients, Morgan & Morgan has a proven track record of fighting for you to get you your full and fair compensation. In Florida, a client received $12 million after the insurance company's best offer was just $3,500,000. In Pennsylvania, a client was awarded $26 million, a staggering 40 times the insurance company's original offer after $650K. All right. Look, if you're ever injured, you can check out Morgan & Morgan, all right? Their fee is free unless they win. For more information, go to forthepeople.com/KFTV or dial #law #529 from your cell phone. That's forthepeople.com/KFTV #law #529 from your cell. This is a paid advertisement, all right, people? Make sure to go over to Morgan & Morgan. They got over 100 law offices and more than 1,000 lawyers nationwide, so they're there to help you, okay? Make sure to go check them out if you're ever in need of any help.